Well, it is a glorious April Saturday here in Portsmouth. It's very sunny. You probably hear that it's quite windy as well, but it's a warm day. Absolutely fantastic. No need for a jacket. Could even be in shorts today. So today I'm going to celebrate by doing something I've never done before. I'm going to go to a non-league football match. It was basically in England. That means semi-professional. It's actually just down the road here. A club called Baffins Milton Rovers. They're a very new club. They play in the Wessex Premier Division, which is step 9 of the English Football League pyramid. So, obviously, the Premier League is step 1. The club was formed in 2011, already a pretty decent amount of success, winning a couple of Wessex League Cups, a couple of Hampshire League Senior Division titles, and the Hampshire League Cup. Today they're playing Bournemouth, which sounds a bit weird. Hear me out. They're not playing Bournemouth, they're playing Bournemouth. The club they're playing today, it's called Bournemouth FC. They were formed in 1875 and known as the Poppies. The other Bournemouth is it's actually called AFC Bournemouth. They play in the Premier League. They're called the Cherries. They weren't formed until 1899. They were actually called Bournemouth and Boscombe Athletic right up until 1971, and then changed their name to AFC Bournemouth so they could appear at the top of alphabetical lists of football clubs. Bit cheeky, I assume. Copyright and trademark laws were a little bit different back then. As I say, Bournemouth FC they're those are Poppies, and they're the older club from the town. They haven't had much success. The only significant trophy they've won in all that time is the Wessex League Cup. But today is a bit of high stakes for Baffins. They're currently sat 5th in the Wessex League Premier. No, they're sat 6th in the Wessex League Premier Division table, one place off the promotion playoff spots behind Hanway Recreation. They're on the same number of points, but Baffins have a game in hand. So if they win today, they can really push themselves into the playoff spot and gain promotion to the prestigious Southern League, one of the oldest football leagues in the world. So we're going to head down to the stadium, which is about half an hour's walk down there along Langston Harbour, and see what this level non-league football is like. The Baffins play at the PMC Stadium on Langston Harbour, so I decided to take a nice long walk along the newly constructed Langston Harbour pathway from Milton Common past these lovely little chalets, which are just the perfect place to be living in on a day like this, until I finally got to the stadium. It's a very small ground, classic English non-league football ground, mostly standing room around the pitch with just a small stand with a couple of dozen or so seats for spectators. But it's £6 entry, £4 for concession. There's no difference between standing room or taking the seats, and if the seat's free, you can take it. There's also this bar clubhouse with a veranda where you can watch the game from, function room which you can hire out for events, and it's just a really nice bar, serve drinks, and there's food as well, bought on the other side. I decided to get myself a cheeseburger and crinkly cut chips to go with a nice cold beer. And you know what? The food tasted pretty good. Sometimes stadium food can have a bad reputation, but this was actually nice, pretty good quality. I liked it. As I said, the PMC Stadium is a very small ground. Maybe get a couple of hundred capacity in total if we packed in the standing room. There's a very small stand, just a few seats. They only usually get about 100 or so on a good day in tennis. But yes, this is the ninth level of football. But it still felt like a really nice place to be on, especially on a sunny day like this, very open, just very fresh, and you can go anywhere in the stand. But eventually the two teams came out with a traditional salute to the patrons in the bar, and it was ready for kickoff. So as I said, this is the ninth level of English football, so it's a far cry from the glittering heights of the Premier League. That doesn't mean to say this is a nothing league. This is properly competitive. It's in the same system. So, hypothetically speaking, these two teams could end up playing in the Premier League. There are restrictions and obviously reality. This club wouldn't actually qualify to go up to some higher levels based on the size of their ground and the facilities involved in the communications or connections to the road system, that sort of thing. But if they figured out how to solve that, then it is technically possible. And these are competitive. These younger players have a chance of progressing up the levels, and you even get some veterans. Baffins actually have a man called Brett Pittman, who was a long time player at Bournemouth and was briefly at Portsmouth. The Baffins were chasing the coveted playoff spot, so they were one place off the promotion playoffs with the game in hand against Hamway Recreation. So this was a very important game for them, the last home game of the season as well. So the disadvantage of having two away games left to play. But they're playing well, they were aggressive, they were making all the chances early on, they were dominating possession, and they were definitely going for it. Bournemouth had a lot more to do, pride to play for, being mid-table and being completely out of both the promotion chase and the relegation chase. But they gave it a good go as well. They didn't want to just go down, rolling over and letting Baffins win and giving them a chance. They wanted to make a statement for the end of the season. Baffins actually went 3-0 up towards the end of the first half. Some great aggressive play. Unfortunately, I missed them all because I was actually spending my time in this absolutely lovely clubhouse bar, getting some drinks and getting this footage. So it's a really nice, stylish place to be in. Really comfortable, really brand new and shining. And of course, there's this great veranda outside for people to sit in the sun. On this particular day, though, there was another very important distraction that kept a few of the fans away from watching the match, watching another incredibly important sporting event. I'm sure there's a few pounds were put on this, the Grand National, and well, I think any of them actually won. So the second half got underway. The fans came back outside once the Grand National was over. It was blisteringly hot. It was at least 20 degrees, I think probably hotter. And I think that affected the players as well. Things did slow down a bit, but the chances were still being created. There was still attacking play on both ends, especially from Baffins, who created quite a few chances every now and again. Wasn't really so much from Bournemouth. Maybe they just felt it was becoming a bit of a dead rubber for them, especially with the score as it was. But Baffins kept plugging away for extra goal for a bit of pride. There was a group of young lads who were leading the cheering, banging the drum, really trying to give a bit of passion into the atmosphere. And eventually they were rewarded with goal number 4 for Baffins. And that was it. My first experience of non-league football. £6 a ticket, £3.50 a pint, and it was about £8.50 for the food. So really good value for money, really good football, a beautiful day, and it was great to see the local team winning in the end. At the end of the day, the Hanway also won, so they remain on the same points, but with that extra game in hand. So still looking good for the promotion, and let's hope in the next couple of games for the end of the season they can do it and get themselves into that promotion playoff and hopefully up into the Southern League next year.